Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's What's for Dinner video, I'll be sharing with you what meals we had this past week. Our dinners were easy to make, budget friendly, and delicious. So if you're looking for some weeknight meal ideas for your family, just keep watching. Today's video is also a collab with Tiffany over at Small Town 6. She is a wife and a mama, and she does budget-friendly grocery hauls, what's for dinner videos, and other videos. So if you like my content, I know you will love her channel. I will have a link to her video in the description box below for you, so be sure to go check out her video, give her a thumbs up, show her some love, and let her know that I sent you. For dinner the next night, we were celebrating two of my siblings' birthdays. So if you're new to my channel, I'm the oldest of four. I just turned 40 this year. I have a sibling who is about 22 months younger than I am. And then I have a sibling who is 19, and my little brother turned 17. The 19-year-old is a sister. So this was my middle sister and my little brother's birthday. And my little brother requested a burger bar. He wanted burgers and all the toppings, and my sister was totally fine with that. She just requested, instead of a birthday cake, she wanted a pineapple casserole for her treat. So I grilled up some hamburgers. I've got some buns, lettuce, tomato, onion, different cheeses. Back here in this 3-compartment warmer, I've got some cooked bacon, some chili. The chili was just canned Hormel chili. And then some of the Rico's nacho cheese sauce, and I set out all different kinds of toppings for the burger. And then I don't know what happened to it. I took a picture, but I must have accidentally deleted it. My mom brought some baked beans and deviled eggs, and then I made some Crockpot Macaroni and Cheese. I've shared this before on my channel. It is a family favorite. It is delicious. I saw it years ago on Kristen Stepp's channel, and I've made it so many times since then. And then there's the pineapple casserole, like I mentioned, for my sister, and then my little brother wanted a brookie, and so I just got, I think it was like the Duncan Hines box mix, and just mixed that up according to the package instructions. And that was our birthday dinner. The next night, I had some things that I needed to use up, so I decided to do some grilled chicken and apple salads. Here's what I used. I had some baby spring mix, some of these honey roasted pecan pieces, craisins. I've got this honey balsamic vinaigrette and the raspberry vinaigrette. And then I had these blue cheese crumbles. I got these at a really great price at Food Lion, along with some feta cheese. And then I've got some chicken. I just already cooked this chicken. It was in the freezer, so I thawed it. And then, of course, I have the apples. And I just assembled the salads. I don't like blue cheese, so I used the feta instead. And I used the honey balsamic vinaigrette. Gary used the raspberry. And these salads were so delicious. Perfect for fall and really quick and easy to put together. Delicious. Gary was out of town for business for the next couple of nights, so I ate things that he doesn't necessarily love. I'd made some tuna macaroni salad for myself for lunches that week, but I had a crazy busy day this night, and so I just decided to have that along with some club crackers for my dinner. I didn't film me making this because, like I said, I wasn't planning on having it for dinner, but I will put my quote-unquote recipe. It's not really a recipe. I don't have measurements. I just eyeballed everything, but I'll put how I made it in the description box below for you if you want to check that out. It was really yummy. I don't know if you all have seen it. I've said many times before, I'm too old and not cool enough for TikTok, so I see things on Instagram kind of after they've went viral. And there's something that's going viral right now called swamp potatoes. And I saw All Recipes make this version, and I decided to give it a try. It's basically just onions, potatoes, sausage, and green beans. But they seasoned it differently than what I've seen before. So like I said, I decided to give it a try. I'll have the video linked in the description box below for you. So here in this crock pot, I've got some baby Yukon Gold potatoes. I just quartered these. Really, you can use whatever kind of potatoes you want. Russets would be just fine. I'm going to add those to the bottom and then add in a chopped onion. Again, use whatever kind of onion you want. If you don't like onions, leave them out. Once I've added that in, I'm going to add in some olive oil. Then I'm going to add some salt and pepper, and kind of be mindful with the amount of salt you're using, because the next ingredient, which is Slap Your Mama, it has salt in it, and then we're also going to use something else that has salt in it later. So just be mindful of that. So like I said, I'm adding in that Slap Your Mama. I'm going to give that a good mix. Next, we're going to add some sliced smoked sausage. I got this chicken smoked sausage. It's already sliced. This was at Publix on BOGO, but you could use whatever kind of sausage you want. You use turkey, you could use kielbasa, and just slice it up yourself. But like I said, I got this on sale. Now I'm going to add in some fresh green beans, followed by a packet of Lipton onion soup mix. And then we're going to add in some garlic powder. And then last but not least, we're going to add in some butter. The All Recipes video I saw used a whole stick. I just use a half a stick. That's just preference. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to cover this with the lid, and then I cooked this on low for about 4 hours until the green beans and the vegetables were tender. I did go in halfway through and stir it, and then this is what it looked like when it was done. Here is my bowl. I just had it by itself. You've got your meat and vegetables already in there. I thought it was good, but to be honest, I couldn't really tell a difference between this and the way that I normally make it, which I normally don't use the Slap Your Mama and onion soup mix. But yeah, it was good. So if you are looking for a quick, easy, budget-friendly dinner to put together, I would recommend you give this recipe a try, and you can play around with the seasonings and use different things. You could also add in like some bell peppers if you wanted to. But yeah, easy and delicious dinner. Gary traveled home the next day. He got in late that evening, and he'd had a really busy couple days, and so I wanted something really comforting and homey to have for him when he got back, and so I decided to do my Crockpot pot roast. I've shared this many times before on my channel. Let me walk you through how I make this real quick. I've got my pot roast. I've got a can of cream of mushroom soup. I've got russet potatoes today. That's what was on sale. Some baby carrots, an onion I'm going to chop up, and then normally I use the regular Lipton onion soup mix, but I had some of the beefy onion soup mix, and I decided to give that a try. So what I do is I season up my vegetables with some salt and pepper in the bottom of the crock pot. So I add in the potatoes, the onions, the carrots, season it up with some salt and pepper. I add the roast on top, and I season the roast on all sides with some salt and pepper and normally some garlic powder. And then what I do is in a measuring cup, I add in the cream of mushroom soup, the onion soup mix, and then I add in some water just to kind of make like a thick gravy. I pour that over the roast, and then I cook this on low and slow all day, 8 to 10 hours until it is fall apart tender. And then just depending on how thick the juices from the meat and everything are, sometimes it's fine. Sometimes I want it a little bit thicker, and I'll add in a cornstarch slurry, which is what I did tonight. So I removed the roast and then added in cornstarch and water, gave it a mix, and cooked it for about 15 minutes, added the roast back in, and then here is my plate. I've got some of the roast and veggies, and then I just warmed up some of the Sister Schubert rolls in the air fryer. They got a little extra brown because I forgot about them, but that's okay. They were still delicious. This roast was so good. The next day was really busy, and Gary had a meeting that night. He asked if I wanted him to pick us up something for dinner, and I'd seen in the Subway app where they had a coupon for buy 1 foot long, get one for $1. So I was like, shoot, yeah. So he picked this up for us, brought it home. We both did the steak and cheese sandwiches. So I did steak and American cheese with Baja Chipotle on the Italian bread toasted, and I added some spinach and tomatoes. Then for him, he did the steak and pepper jack cheese on the Italian urban cheese bread. He also did spinach and tomato, but then I added green bell peppers and banana peppers to his, along with the Baja Chipotle, and we just had some chips from the pantry, and that was our dinner that night. For the last dinner in this week's video, I made my granny's vegetable beef soup. I remember her making this when she had leftover pot roast. In this pot here, I've got some whole tomatoes. Now, Granny would use the whole tomatoes that she canned herself, which I don't can my own tomatoes. Sorry, Granny, but I had picked these up from an Amish store, so I'm going to use those. You can just use canned, of course. And she would break up the tomatoes herself with her hands, so I'm going to do that and then add in some water. I just filled that same jar up with water. Now we're going to add in some beef bouillon. Instead of filling the jar up with water, you can just use beef broth if you prefer to do that, but I'm going to do the water and bouillon. Now, I don't remember Granny adding garlic and onion powder. She probably didn't, but I'm going to add some in there. I'm sure she'd be okay with it. Followed by some black pepper and salt. And then because of the acidity of the tomatoes, I'm going to add in a good pinch of sugar. It doesn't make it sweet, just counteracts that acidity. And then off camera, I added in a bay leaf, which I'll show you in just a minute. For the vegetables, Granny would use ones that she canned or froze herself, but we're sticking with Bird's Eye, and I used 1.5 of these bags. At this point, I'm going to add in that leftover pot roast, and then I am going to bring this to a simmer, and I simmered this for about an hour. Now, at this point, I'm going to take and here's that bay leaf I showed you. I forgot to show it earlier. But after this simmered for about an hour, I'm going to take the leftover vegetables from the pot roast and stir that in and then cook this for another maybe 20 minutes or so. They were already cooked. I just wanted to warm everything up. Give it a taste, adjust the seasonings to your taste, and this is what the soup looked like when it was done. Now, I wanted to make grilled cheese with this. I've never made grilled cheese in the oven, but I've seen people do it, and I thought, hey, let's give that a try. You basically just butter your bread, add on your cheese, and then place it on a sheet pan, bake it at 350 until both sides are golden brown. And if you're doing more than a couple grilled cheeses, I would definitely try this. This was really convenient. Here is the bowl of soup along with our grilled cheese. And this was so good. It completely reminded me of being a little girl in Granny's kitchen. It was so warm and so comforting. All right, that is it for today's video. I hope that it gave you some dinner ideas to try. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And don't forget to go check out Tiffany's channel, again, Small Town 6. It will be linked down in the description box below for you. I hope you enjoyed watching today. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.